Game Breaker TV.
Little Mike B action with the new theme song. What is up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO number 64 for September 28th, 2011. I'm Gary Gannon, of course. This is GameBreaker.tv, your daily, weekly, not daily, it's weekly. Your daily, weekly, monthly dose of MMO goodness. Coming up this week, SWTOR gets a release date. You know, you guys have been waiting for that. More World of Darkness goodness. If you didn't get enough last week, we've got more to cover. And there's still hope for the Fallout Online MMO. All that and much more. But first, from all that crazy Game Breaker crap stuff, things that go on over here, and Zam.com's BFF report, it's Bacafoni. How are you, sir?
Doing good. From all that crazy Game Breaker bi-hourly stuff that he... Hi.
And back for more from Beckett Massive Online Gamer, it's Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, Jason?
I am doing just fine. The thing is, just nothing really happened this week. I have no idea what we're going to talk about at all.
Zero! Look at you in celebration. Let's get right to it.
I got this shirt at PAX East and I just unwrapped it like 10 minutes ago.
You should have done an unboxing of it right here live. You should have just
an unboxing.
You could have been an unboxing of your tour shirt. You'd be like, the new shirt smell.
It's in like a see-through plastic bag.
Yeah.
See the black plastic part.
Oh, inspected by number 37.
Ooh, amazing. So 3 years later, Star Wars The Old Republic finally has a release date, December 20th of 2011. Sure they didn't get the year wrong and maybe they're trolling and it's 2012 or 2013? You're just, nope, it's really 2011. We talked at length about it on The Republic this week, so you should go watch that, The Republic live on GameBreaker.tv, the Star Wars The Old Republic show. What do you think of the guy? What do you guys think of the date, Jason? What do you think of the date itself? Super, super close to Christmas. Some people are thinking it's kind of unusual that it's only days before Christmas, and it's actually kind of odd. What did you think of the actual date?
I think that there's not going to be any real Christmas vacation whatsoever for the BioWare employees. But they'll be kept warm by the nice money-stuffed blankets. So
I mean, that's exactly what we were wondering about on the show. We were like, Christmas is just, if you're working at BioWare, you might as well just like forget 2011 Christmas. It's over. It's gone. Just tell your family you're not coming home. You're not going to see them. You're going to be stuck at the office.
Pretty much, which is going to be pretty much the same for most of the gamers, most of the people playing the game.
So
yeah,
sorry, Grandma, I can't come visit. I got
a game to play.
Yeah, it's practically Biomart at this point, right? I mean, it's like gonna work them right through Christmas, and it's probably right through New Year's, I'm sure. I mean, the game's gonna be hot for the first month. I think it's kind of smart. Like, I'm wondering if they're trying to hit that lower age demographic that's all like out of school, right? I don't know. Is that what they're trying to go for there? Like, it's gonna be the hottest game, the newest game that's gonna be out in time for Christmas. So it's like,
well, I mean, if they come out any earlier, you know, I know it's an MMO, and most people disagree, think that they don't compete with console games, but they do. I'm sorry, all games compete in the same space. I mean, well, if they come out any earlier, they've got to go up against Battlefield and Skyrim and all these other games. You know, if they come out any later, they got to worry about D3 in 2012. I mean, were you expecting a pushback before we actually got the announcement? Do you think this would slip to 2012?
I heard, and take this for what it was. I heard from a guy who knows a guy or whatever. But I heard that when you license a game, you know, you have to pay a certain percentage to the licensee. So BioWare has to pay, Lucas something, and maybe it's like 20% or something. I had heard that if they didn't release the game in 2011, that number was going to go up.
Oh,
so
wow!
I've been sort of thinking that it would be 2011 the whole time, and they are apparently just barely squeezing it in.
Kind of makes sense. It makes total sense. You know, put it in the contract initially, 5 years ago when this thing goes put down on paper, and say, what's your estimated release date? Well, if you miss your targeted release date, this is going to be some stuff you got to pay extra to get the game out. Mike, did you think this was going to go to 2012?
I did think that they would push it. I mean, I kind of thought, yeah, because I mean, the thing that we played, or that I played like months and months ago, seemed pretty solid. But then again, it was like one world, and it was specifically tailored to be as good as it can possibly be for the press event. So it was kind of like, okay, it's kind of tough to take that for a game that's going to have multiple worlds and all that. But I like how they announced it like the day after. Diablo was like, oh, 2012, sigh. And then they're like, woo, 1220, baby. Woo.
Are you with me on that? Are you with me on it? Because that's where I was going. I totally see the correlation here. Are you? Is that? Do you think that's totally the case?
Do we need the tinfoil hats again?
We may, but I mean, it was less than 24 hours after D3 got pushed to 2012. They're like, hey, release date.
I mean, they should just stop. I mean, I can't be mad at BioWare, right? Because Blizzard does it all the time, and I'm sure they'll figure out some way of launching something at Christmas, right?
4-3, 4-3's coming at Christmas, bro.
Right. I know we were talking like November. I thought it would be November because to keep up with the pace of things. That's a legendary topic. But anyways, for BioWare to do this, I thought that was a smart move for them. It is kind of awkward timing, but it's going to allow them to pick up those younger gamers who maybe haven't really been exposed to the whole Star Wars thing. You know, the Blu-ray just came out. There's a whole lot of stuff that's just happening like right now for Star Wars. You know, especially the big Blu-ray push. So I'm wondering if that's kind of just falling into that. Like if they waited another year, then all the promo they did for the Blu-ray now to keep Star Wars fresh in everyone's mind would be totally lost.
Yeah, they lose the piggybacking off the hype of the Blu-ray and stuff. At least now it's fresh in everybody's mind. A lot of people are probably going to be asking for that for Christmas. Nice little stocking stuffer. Get the Star Wars Blu-ray. Oh, and then wrapped right behind it, you've got Star Wars: The Old Republic to play as well.
What's that commercial with the little boy that like goes out there and uses the Force, and the dad like, is that a Volkswagen commercial or whatever? He like hits the starter.
You what?
The little boy's like, oh
yeah.
But it's a Volkswagen commercial, isn't it?
Funny enough, he's a really good friend of mine who wrote it. I'm friends with the guy who wrote it. Thought I told you that. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a brilliant. Yeah, that was the Super Bowl commercial that like won everybody over. It's brilliant.
You're like, oh, Kim Kardashian? Yeah, I'm her thigh oiler. Yeah, I mean, what? Come on, guys. What?
That's a full-time job.
That commercial was actually playing just like 20 minutes ago downstairs, and at the end they promoted the Blu-ray. So
there you go.
Volkswagen commercial on piggyback. So yeah, they're totally piggybacking off this stuff.
There you go. I think BioWare just hired me when I just kind of put that whole commercial together for them for the Blu-ray wrapped with ribbon with Star Wars: The Old Republic attached to it in your stocking. It's a win-win.
I can see them hiring you to oil their legs.
Ooh, as long as it's Kim Kardashian, I'm in. If it's Georg Zoller, not so much.
Are you going to wear the slave bikini outfit, Gary?
If she's wearing the slave bikini outfit, not Georg. Georg, I'm not going to oil your legs. Sorry, bro. All right. Also, they announced that their payment model is completely standard, $15 a month. So no free-to-play revolution for SWTOR. I don't think that's too much of a I think we were pretty much all expecting something like this. Were any of you guys expecting anything different, or was this not a surprise, Mike?
I'm not at all surprised to see them go for the $14.99. They'll probably have like 3-month and 6-month and yearly packages. Same thing like Blizzard does. It is kind of like the industry standard, and we've already seen what happens when games go out and they try to like rock the boat too much in that sense. It just ends up being too confusing, or it kind of ends up devaluing the product. So yeah, it makes sense. Jason,
any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were both expecting and almost panicking those would be like $20 a month just because they could. But I think there's so much of a limit you can do with even something as popular as Star Wars that wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, we got mixed feelings like on that on Star Wars: The Republic. Like some people thinking, you know, that they could have jacked up the price and gone for a $17 or $18 a month price just because they could. Others were almost hoping that they would drop the price due to the economy being so bad and hoping for like maybe a $12 or $13 price. But I think it's probably pretty safe to just stick with the standard 15. I mean, they can't really get too much flack for, you know, just being a standard. No lifetime subs. That's nothing that's been announced. I think there are, if I'm correct. I think you're right, Mike, that there's 3 and 6 month, but I don't believe there's any lifetime, which is probably a good.
Yeah, I think there wasn't even a 12. I think it was just 136.
Yeah, 136. I think are the only options right now. So I don't know. Mark your calendars. December 20th, 2011.
Cancel your Christmas and New Year's.
Cancel your
plans.
Christmas because you should probably just hang out with Game Breaker TV because you know we're gonna have a live party for it. I mean, everybody's invited. We know we got to do something crazy because we've been waiting 57 episodes. I think. What is that? Yeah, I think we're like 57 episodes of a show for a game that doesn't exist, and now I got to figure out what we're gonna talk about.
My nearest family member is 1,000 miles away, so you know what I'll be doing.
Just playing all week. On a completely unrelated note, Tryon's End of Nations has been pushed back to 2012. I think I've broken my tinfoil hat with all the speculation about Blizzard's announcements affecting BioWare, so I'm not even going to go there with it. But what do you think? What do you think? Do you think this has anything to do with? Do you think Tryon is trying to avoid Star Wars: The Old Republic's launch at all? What do you think, Mike?
I think it'd be weird because it's not even their genre. Like I can't see an MMORTS really stressing out about trying to capture possible subscribers off of. See,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised that some people and I'm not saying some people lumping it, but I am. I'm surprised that a lot of people have that view of the gaming industry of like this isn't competition because it doesn't fit in that slice of the pie. I completely disagree. Like I think if a game is coming out and even if it's not the same genre or whatever, it's still trying to fight for a gamer's time. And I think that these companies completely look at these other games as competition. Do you not?
I agree to an extent. Yeah, I agree to an extent that there is going to be some gray area there. But is it a percentage that they would be worried about? That I don't know. I just can't see them really looking at this and saying, "Wow, the game is going to fail because of this." I mean, yeah, there's probably the gray area there. So I'll side with you on that. That maybe they moved it because they want to keep that 10%, which is a big number. But I mean, for it to be specifically because of that, I don't know. It just seems a little far-fetched.
Yeah, I think there's enough differences in the different genres and so on that there's people who play certain games aren't going to play others. I'm more of a RPGer more than I am an RTSer, so I'm more interested in Old Republic than I am in End of Nations, regardless of whether when they were coming out or how big the property is.
But I guess what it is also, but it's also like mind share of just what's going on in the press and what is capturing the gaming audience as a whole as far as what they're hyped up on. I mean, you're not going to be able to really compete with the amount of coverage that Star Wars: The Old Republic is going to get from now up until Christmas. It's just like everybody, all the blogs, all the gaming sites are going to be flooded with it. And I could see,
all the magazines.
Right, all the magazines. Yeah. It's true. Like I mean, if you have this choice and you're kind of like, going through like, hey, do we talk about Star Wars: The Old Republic or do we talk about End of Nations? Like you could see End of Nations possibly being worried slightly that they get kind of like pushed under the rug a little bit and don't get the kind of press. So if they find a nice open window where, hey, there's not a whole lot. There's nothing big going on right now. Right. I need to call Jason Winter and they need to write a great article about End of Nations in Massive Beckett Online Gamer, and you go, oh my God, Star Wars already came out. The hype's a little bit over. Gamers want something new. Let's put you on the cover, right?
Yeah.
It's
well,
let's not go overboard here.
You kind of have to knock Tryon for slapping MMO on it, right? I mean, it's like, well, maybe if you guys just called it an RTS and didn't throw MMO on it, maybe. I don't know. It's like we all know that a lot of World of Warcraft players play League of Legends. I think that's just common knowledge. But do we say that? Can we attribute the WoW's decline in numbers to be associated with League of Legends? I don't think we've ever really even mentioned those two together as far as one's hurting the other.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say when you don't have raw data and real numbers, but isn't there something to that though, Jason? I mean, seriously, with Beckett, like, isn't there something with the amount of like hype that's going to go on around a certain season and things like that, that smaller games, like, I don't want to call it smaller, but just ones that are having less of an attention grab, don't they do have something slightly to worry about to try and like at least maximize their PR and the press, don't they?
Well, maybe just a little bit, but certainly in our situation, I have a 100-page magazine, so I only can put in 100 pages of stuff, minus whatever ads and contents and whatever. It's a little different on a website. If a website wants to put up an extra article about End of Nations, they can do that a little more easily.
Sure,
so,
but Maybe you don't even want me to go here. Maybe you want me to drop the conversation about Massive. But I'm like, can you talk about that? I mean, what I'm saying, you only have 100 pages. Exactly. Like, you are limited to what you guys can talk about. So if it's like, oh, we're gonna talk about Tor, or we're gonna talk, or let's just forget the games. But it's like, if you're gonna talk about game that we know, like, you know, very large presence right now, lots of people paying attention to, or a game that like we want to talk about but we don't have maybe the space for. I would have to think that there's got to be that thought from the game developer's perspective of like, they want to make sure that they're going to come at you at a time that when you say like, oh, I do have a couple pages, I can put you in the magazine.
Sure. I mean, at least in my mind, and you know, again, to some extent, this is how websites work. We try to cover what the important, you know, big games are. Give those the most coverage, regardless necessarily of. Obviously, we're going to do a bunch on Old Republic in the next issue when it comes out, but we try to make it so that the games that people really want to read about will get in there. Now, End of Nations, like I said, being what it was never going to get like a 6-page feature cover story article, but we'll still try to get it in when we can.
Sure. Right. I was kind of making.
Yeah.
It's not a joke, but I was like, you know, I was over inflating the, you know, of where it goes. But I think you got my point. Go ahead, Mike.
No, your next issue should be a strategy guide for no, I think that coming from Tryon, who's proven themselves to be a reputable you know, brand, I guess, or company as far as you know, customer relations, I think that there's a lot of trust there, and so it kind of they're in a good position right now. Let's just say that, you know, they did make a solid game, they made a good game. And so now here they are working on another one. I think we can expect that it's going to hopefully be just as solid as Rift was.
Let's see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to an MMORTS. It sounds really interesting, and I'm kind of psyched to see what they do with the genre and kind of bend it, make it MMO-ish. All right, following from last week, we talked a lot about CCP's World of Darkness. We had some info that came out of the Grand Masquerade. Massively.com actually got an interview. It's definitely worth taking a look at. You should go over to massively.com and check that out. They spoke with Shane Defriest, community developer of CCP North America and White Wolf Publishing. And they talked a little bit about, they were referencing the pen and paper role-playing game. Pulled out a couple quotes here. First off, Shane said this. He said, the fact that it was a role-playing game was an and not the. So if we can hit that on the MMO front and put the game somewhere between an MMO and virtual world, that draws people in because they like the style or the personal connectivity. He then goes on to say, or the music or the style of it. And then there's a game as well. We'll bring in a broader range of people and create a different experience than just saying, oh, it's a game. That's pretty much the definition of kind of going into the sandbox virtual world coupled with video game. I mean, you guys are definitely reading this full on, like, sort of virtual world sandbox MMO. What do you think, Mike?
I mean, it sounds like it, the way he's describing it. I mean, isn't that the whole point of the pen and paper side of it? It's like kind of you're creating your own world, so they kind of want to make that translate somehow by giving them that kind of environment. I don't know. It's really tough to deal with this because I don't follow the whole RP side a lot. Like, I know you love the whole conspiracy theory and all this stuff, and it's like, oh, it's conspiracy theory, right? So it's tough for me to really get involved into the RP side of it. So I kind of have to wait and see how it ties into like gameplay and all that stuff. Like, is my gameplay going to be sacked because I have to deal with a bunch of RP nonsense that I don't care about?
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be something different because I have played the RPG, the pen and paper one, and it's not about, you know, going out and killing the dragon and getting the loot and coming back and boinking the barmaid or whatever. There's more to it than just the accumulation of wealth and whatever. So I don't think it's a game where at end game you're just be doing raids over and over again. They're going to try to have some different kind of gameplay to keep their core fans interested.
You think this could be the game? I mean, some RPers out there are kind of feeling that BioWare haven't really, you know, with Star Wars, aren't actually doing anything super special for sort of the RP community. And I guess with CCP kind of coming at this, and they've said they're trying to take almost the LARPing aspect of real world LARPing and the pen and paper and kind of mix it into a game. Jason, do you think CCP can actually kind of, this could possibly really be the game for #1 option for role players?
I think it could be, but I think it's going to be a niche and it's going to be fairly small. You know, something on par with, you know, Eve, for instance, which plays like a completely different than everything else out there, and attracts its certain hardcore people, and keeps those people generally, but has a little trouble getting new people because it's just so out there.
So niche, like just that it's so particular in its gameplay style.
And they're happy with that. I think they have no problem with that. They don't expect it to have 10 million people.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see like how CCP wants to position this and what they're going for, because I know a lot of people were saying it's probably going to be a little bit more casual. That they'd like to break out of that sort of like hardcore mentality, I guess, or what most people think of EVE Online. Also, Shane also went on to say, players obviously make the world, and we're focusing on putting more systems in place to facilitate social repercussions, giving real people the ability to enforce those rather than encourage a mob mentality. If you're going to have a prince of a city, for example, and the prince has power, and a part of that power ultimately would be to be the blood hunt that's ordering someone's death, another real player, it's a big deal. It's like sending someone to the gas chamber or electric chair. There's a process, but if you can really kill people's characters after they've screwed up so many times, you can put a system in place. So if you didn't see last week's show, we talked about this a little bit. The prince is actually of a city is actually what they're going to allow a player, a real life player, to become. And basically, if you as another player screw up over and over and over, someone else could possibly kill your character permanently. There is going to be permadeath in this game with a gating system. Mike, what do you think about a game that kind of has permadeath with these sort of gating system involved?
I think it's I mean, it sounds to me like they basically took Terra's political system and took away the Nerf guns, and replaced it with shotguns, so it's like I think that's really interesting, because we talked about how cool the whole political thing could be in Terra, right? You could lock someone up or whatever, how interesting that would be. But to have the power to eventually, should somebody, I guess, screw up enough or whatever, or not pay taxes, who knows, kill them and destroy their character completely, that just sounds like just working as intended for CCP.
Just
right?
totally working as intended. What do you think, Jason? What do you think of this kind of a system of permadeath with somebody actually being able to kill off your character if you do too many things wrong?
Wow.
It's ballsy.
That pretty much sums it up.
It's
wow.
pretty ballsy. I mean, it's pretty interesting. I guess so. Here's another quick quote. This totally ties into it. Shane went on to say, he says, it's kind of like the old Activision games. If you break the masquerade a certain number of times, then the cops just keep coming. We're not doing that specifically, but things like that will definitely be represented with the humanity system in the game. When you get to humanity 0, bad things are going to happen, and you're going to lose your character. So the first thing I'm thinking is, like, Jason, I'll throw this at you. What do you think? Like, it sounds to me like what this could possibly just become like a grind, though. It's like, oh, you start off your character, humanity at +10. Oh, you did something wrong, humanity plus negative, or you're at 9. Now you're at 8. Now you're at 7. Oh my God, I'm screwing up. I gotta go save some children or something and do something good at the charity event so I can get back to +8, +9. Right? I mean,
yeah. Well, like in the role playing game, when you do that, if you go murder a busload of nuns or whatever, your character loses humanity, and then he's supposed to actually go and role play being. He's supposed to do something, not just driving by. Oh, there's the orphanage on fire. Let's go put it out. He's supposed to actually repent for it and feel better. How you implement that in a game, I'm not sure. How you actually make someone be sincere. I mean, the one thing I thought of maybe was, as your humanity gets lower, your game starts screwing up. Like your 4 and your 3 key are inverted or something like that. Or your WASD starts mixing up.
That would be amazing. Like your actual controls start not working correctly. How great would that be? And then if you get into a fight and you feel totally gimped.
Yeah, and you'll really want to. Oh, geez, I gotta get my humanity back. I'm crazy now. You'll really want to do it.
Jason just blew my mind. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh. So I'll just load up my G key profile for whatever humanity level I have.
No. What if
reassign the keys and there you go.
No. What if it's random? What if it's random?
Unless you're in your menus during the fight, doing it all the time. Just sometimes you're attacked as a heal. Look at that. Hey.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow, that'd be amazing. They should steal that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I'd like to see how they how you end up losing humanity like on a regular basis, right? I'm sure there's going to be. I'm sure
By
there's
ordering a blood
busloads
on
of.
another person. There you go.
Well, I'm sure there's busfuls of nuns just like hanging out at every corner, right? So it's very tempting. But I mean, outside of that, like, are you gonna? Yeah, are you going to like AOE on accident and kill like a guard or a policeman? It's like, oh, whoops, I didn't see you standing there, dude. Sorry, my flame inferno blast like just happened to catch you off guard. I'm sorry, you know. It's like the DK system that was in or the dishonorable kill, right? For an old World of Warcraft, like 1 point whatever. That system sucked.
It's a little bit like Lineage 2 system as well.
Yeah, it basically just. I don't think that most gamers like to lose things for stupid reasons. But if there's a busload of nuns and it makes a really cool explosion, then the gamer could say, you know what, I want to see how much I could blow up this giant bus of nuns. So I'm willing to pay the price for that. Not, oops, I accidentally did this and now I'm paying the price for it.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm still stuck on Jason's idea though. I'm loving the idea of my keyboard just not working correctly. And at first, you know how many gamers would think that their keyboard is broke and go out and run and buy a new keyboard? They'd just be like, oh my God, it's broke. I don't know what's going on. I think that's a brilliant way to do it though. Then you'd have a really hard time to actually like, you know, kind of building your humanity back up because you also got to play GIMP. I don't know, interesting stuff. All right, also when Shane was asked about microtransactions, otherwise known as very expensive monocles, he answered with this. He said, without discussing the specifics too much, I would say that we're very cognizant of the way these games are developed and the trends that are occurring in the market. So it would make sense. It will absolutely be a very visual, aesthetic game. He said, and the market is changing. More games are trending that way. And I would question how long a pure subscription model would last. The tide is changing, and we see that. So I think it's safe to say with everybody, it's about 110% sure that World of Darkness will have microtransactions. Do you think, Mike, do you think there's any chance that, who knows when this is coming out?
Yeah.
Total speculation here, but you think World of Darkness could be free to play?
At the rate at which free to play is becoming more and more the standard, I mean, look at where we were like a year and a half ago versus where we're at now. A year from now, this is hypothetically, right? I can't see them doing anything other than free to play with some maybe some kind of like freemium type setup. You know, it's no way to know, but just looking at the past and the rate at which the market's changing, I can't imagine there being very many subscription-based MMOs by this time next year.
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, pretty much the same. I mean, like I said, everything's going free to play now, and this probably will too.
I mean, got to think that this is probably not going to see the light of day till at least, I'm going to guess, 2013. I don't think we're seeing this in 20. Yeah, maybe even longer. I don't know. So yeah, I think by then the market's totally going to shift. Who knows what the market's going to be like that? Maybe they'll be paying you to play the MMO by then. Wouldn't be free to play. The company pays player to play.
You get like a cut for every ad that they show you. You get like a percentage.
Hey, somebody in some other country will do that. Don't worry, it'll happen. They'll figure something out. Sure.
They'll do it.
All right, moving on. Good news for fans of OnLive. OnLive is the cloud gaming service. MMOs may actually be coming to the service in the future. So if you haven't checked out OnLive, it's a cloud-based gaming platform. It's basically, you have a controller and it connects directly to the internet, and it actually streams you the games. You don't actually have a console, and you have all these games that are completely on demand for you to play at basically at your fingertips. The game actually isn't installed on your machine, so even if you got like a 5-year-old system, you can actually get to play modern games this way. Apparently, the only reason that there's no MMOs on the service right now is because no deals have actually been signed. But apparently, they're talking with EA right now about this. When they were asked about latency issues, because that's one of the big questions that comes up with this kind of service since it is streaming, the staff explained that a large number of the multiplayer titles they currently have similar connectivity requirements to MMOs. So, Mike, first of all, I know you did an OnLive BFF report, I think, a while back, and you talked about that. I don't know. How do you think could MMOs work on the OnLive service?
Well, I've actually played a lot since then too. Like I played Deus Ex on it, and it's interesting. The gameplay is good enough for MMOs. Most MMOs, you should say. there is latency though. Like there's in any first-person shooter, it hurts to play that game. But in an MMO environment, I could see them totally getting away with it. Like honestly, they could.
It sort of sounds like, anything other than competitive PvP, you might be okay with MMO.
Right, competitive PvP, maybe you don't want to do this way, but I mean, just like casual, random PvP stuff, yeah, you could totally do it. It actually plays. The gameplay actually feels a lot like, and it's very difficult to use this analogy because a lot of people haven't played it recently. But APB's new vehicle physics, the way that it reacts, it feels a lot like that. Playing any game on live. So it's something that you could just totally just get used to, and you're just going and you're fine. Plus, you got to remember the other player is experiencing the same amount of latency you are, so it's not like you're working at a total disadvantage. But it's not that bad. An MMO, they could totally get away with it.
How about first of all, Jason, how do you feel about this? How do you feel like MMO playing on a service like OnLive?
I'm not encouraged by the notion of, well, we'll both have latency, so it'll be equal, and so we'll both suck. That was a glowing endorsement on my mind. Funny that you mentioned, though, that nobody's really stepped up to the plate for it yet, because in the video that we're going to see in the next segment, when I pulled it up on YouTube, in front of it was an OnLive ad. So I thought that was
there's tons and tons of OnLive ads, that's for sure.
That's the first one I've never seen.
Oh, really? I see them constantly.
Yeah. The only thing, I mean, talk about like lag spikes, right? Like affecting your gameplay. There is one issue that I've seen come up from time to time. So there's this like really obscure video art style called data moshing, where you remove what's called intermediate frames, which is just like the reference frame that one frame and then all the other frames refer to it, right? If you remove that frame, it's going to look at what was before that. So if you change a scene or something like that, you get this crazy smearing effect. Right? I think everybody's probably seen it who streamed a video from one time to a device or something. It's just really trippy, cool effect, but it really sucks when that happens when you're playing a game and everything, and the whole screen just turns into this trippy, like
it just smears across your screen.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's the only thing I can really see hurting it.
Is that something that actually happens with the OnLive service?
I've had it happen. Oh yeah, no, I've had it. I don't want to say, oh yeah, like all the time. No, but I've had it happen enough where if I was going to do something competitively, it would make me go, not so sure about that.
What do you think about rating? Do you think because I haven't gotten hands-on time. You're the only one here with actually hands-on time. So how do you think rating would feel?
It would, see, rating I would put right in line with anything competitive, because it's, but then again, if everybody's dealing with the same latency, I would sure they would do some kind of have some way of compensating for it. But that's tough. I would put it up there with competitive stuff, where it would definitely be much more of a challenge. But outside of that, I mean, I think you could probably manage.
Yeah, but the boss isn't dealing with that latency.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. Compensate somehow.
You got to wonder what's going to happen though in the next couple of years here though with this technology. I mean, I personally believe this is totally the future of technology. I would love to stop building PCs every other year to upgrade a video card and like do all this. I would love a keyboard and mouse and controller and just a service that I could play all these games. And I don't know.
They have the little box too. It's like it's just an interface box, a console. You can take it downstairs and boom, and then go upstairs and play the exact same game on your computer. It's like Comcast DVRs and stuff. Watch it in any room. It's pretty much like the same thing.
I know. Now I'm actually so intrigued. I gotta give the whole service a shot. I haven't tried it yet, and I really want to check it out. Viewers, what do you guys think? What do you guys think of OnLive and cloud-based gaming in general? Are you guys a fan of it? Do you guys want to see it? And what about your MMOs? I mean, do you want to see MMOs on OnLive, or do you want to stick with your PCs and upgrading and dumping tons of money in there? I like saving money once in a while, so it sounds like a good idea to me. I could just save money. Leave a comment below on this episode and let us know. All right, next up, Fallout Online, the MMO. There is still hope, people. There's still hope. I know, it's amazing. In yet another court case over the would-be Fallout MMO, Bethesda bid for a temporary restraining order against Masthead, who are working with Interplay to make the game, was actually rejected this week. They were rejected. U.S. District Judge, the Honorable John F. Walter speaking, said, he said, indeed, Bethesda was aware as early as February 2011 that Masthead was potentially infringing its copyrights, yet plaintiff waited 7 months to apply for Is that parte relief? Parte. The court finds that plaintiff unreasonably delayed in seeking relief and that the emergency that allegedly justifies a temporary restraining order is self-created, which, on a side note, is why you saw Bethesda went crazy after Mojang's Scrolls game so hard. Exact reason. There are laws that say you do not, if you do not go after and protect your copyright, you can possibly lose it. If the court deems that it is not important to you, you are screwed. So, what do you guys think, Mike? You think we're ever going to see Fallout the MMO? Do you think it'll see the light of day with all these crazy court things going on?
Man, I don't know. I mean, Bethesda kind of has their hands full, like on all fronts. I understand the protect your copyright thing, like we talk about all the time. That you have to do that. I mean, we get that. But I mean, on the Minecraft side, that's so ridiculous. Will we ever see a Fallout MMO? At this point, who knows? There's already Fallen Earth, which I think is the closest you're gonna get to anything Fallout related, right? Or Fallout-like-esque. But that's so hard to tell. It's because with all this kind of mess, we know how long these things could last. It could last forever.
What do you think, Jason? How do you think this whole mess might turn out?
If there is a Fallout MMO, I hope Bethesda does it, because after Earthrise, I don't think we want to see anything else from Masthead.
That is a whole nother controversial topic amongst everybody, is that a lot of the fans of the Fallout series don't even really want to see the MMO come out from Masthead. So you are correct. It is potentially probably a better thing that maybe they aren't allowed to actually get this thing out. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I mean, now that this temporary restraining order, though, has been kind of thrown out of the courts, I think it's actually a big win for Masthead and Interplay, just to show that they may not, the courts may not actually see this as putting roadblocks up in front of them to keep going with it. You know they're going to keep going with it because the franchise is so huge, and if they released an MMO, it would be great.
Such a huge risk.
What is there? Do you think that this? Do you think lawsuits like this actually hurt Bethesda's reputation amongst gamers? Do you think the gamers actually care about this and could turn on them at all?
I think the Minecraft one has a much larger impact than the Fallout one. I mean, honestly, I think the Minecraft one holds much more ground than the as far as like gamer reps concerned. I don't see very many on Reddit, for example. I don't see very many Fallout threads reaching the front page, you know. But I see a Minecraft one like every other post. So yeah, it's.
But I think we're talking about two different things. Like you're talking, but you're also you got to look at it as like business is business, and you know the way the law is structured. It's a clear cut and dry thing. Like something like that happens with Scrolls, and lawyers just go like, you know, we have to do this. Like we have to protect this. It has to be done. It's just a protection thing.
So I get the Fallout one. I get that, you know, how that would make sense and everything. I think that the fact that they waited for so long, who knows why? Like they wanted to see if they would actually do it or something, and then they try to slap them down with a cease and desist or whatever. But as far as the Minecraft one's concerned, that one's just flat out BS. I mean, come on, man. Scrolls, like I mean, nobody says scrolls when they refer to, you know, Skyrim. They just don't.
Yeah,
So
you can't go too far with that. There's a pen and paper RPG company called Palladium that makes an RPG called Rifts, and they violently go after anybody who even remotely has a game that has that anywhere in the title. And they did go after Tryon. And
I would imagine
as
so.
you can see how that turned out.
Yeah, well, Tryon's got some money, probably more.
Yeah,
than...
that's the difference. Most of the people they sue don't. So
Right. Well, I for one hope we do end up seeing a Fallout MMO. Hopefully, Masthead actually does it correctly. I don't know. I'd love to see a good post-apocalyptic MMO. I was super psyched about Fallen Earth, but didn't really do it for me. I don't know. I'm probably gonna give it another shot once it goes free to play. I think that's sometime in October. It's going free to play, right? Is that right?
Oh, really? I thought it was already free to play.
Is it free to play? Did I miss it? I don't know. What am I thinking?
I just downloaded
my little Gamer's First launcher.
Yeah, same here.
Oh, right. I'm thinking of some other Gamer's First thing that's coming out in October. There's some other game that I think they just put up. So I didn't even know.
There's a game going free to play in October? No.
Seriously? No way. I think there's a free to play. It's like you can make a commercial like there's a puppy abandoned every minute. There's an MMO going free to play every minute. You can put some Sarah McLachlan music behind it. It'd be epic. All right, Tan.
That commercial.
It just drives you nuts, doesn't it? Every time it comes out, I have to change it because I'm just like, oh my god.
Someone change the channel.
The slow motion puppy shots are so sad.
For 35 cents a day, you can stop an MMO from going free to play.
There you go. Oh, perfect. All right, finally time. It's finally time to jump back into Final Fantasy XIV. Ba-dum-ba. Did you get that? No, it's not.
Speaking of free to play.
Yeah, it's not the. Well, this is not the PS3 launch. Nope, not the PS3 launch that we've been waiting forever for. It's even better. It's even better, folks. It's even better. Hey, it's 1955. We have the worst editors in the world. It's a game show. Put your money down now.
Oh, it's such a familiar song. When you say game show, it totally makes sense.
Coming in, let's join our first host, Mr. Jason Winter. And gonna try and steal his spots. You know him by many pseudonyms, aka Phony Baka and many other voices you know if you've heard of him. The Chinhawk himself. It's Mike B, aka Phony. It's Chocobo time, people. Place your bets. Spin the wheel of Chocobo. Wow.
Memories.
Seriously.
Back when Final Fantasy was good.
Terrible editing, terrible music, terrible game. Chocobo's coming in a year and a half after. Can I just go to the next story? You know what I didn't see there, Mike? I gotta point out. I didn't see any Chocobos jumping. Did you notice any jumping?
No, how strange.
Did you ask the Final Fantasy, the Square Enix people if Chocobos were gonna be able to jump?
I should have.
I wish you did now, because now I don't think they're adding any jumping. No, but at a Tokyo press conference, Square Enix CEO was brutally honest when speaking about Final Fantasy XIV. He had this to say. He said basically, the Final Fantasy brand has been greatly damaged. We'll continue with our reform work, which basically amounts to fully redoing the game, and hope to revive the FFXIV that should have been released. Jason, I gotta ask you seriously. I know I'm kind of bagging on it right now, but is there any hope left for Final Fantasy XIV? Could you see them possibly bringing this game into a state where, you know, gamers, MMO players actually want to play this with all the competition of Star Wars, WoW, Guild Wars, blah blah blah?
Well, first I'll say that I've never played it, so I don't have any opinion on that. I don't have that experience. I've heard nothing good about it, but I think it can be salvaged. I think that Square Enix hasn't been that great with the Final Fantasy license for a while, but I think they're a big enough company and Final Fantasy is a big enough property that they can still maybe get something out of it. They've already, at least it's pretty. At least I got that much right.
I do agree. It is.
And I remember when I was reading about it, the game system sounded interesting. A lot of parts of it, they need to westernize it more.
Did you read about those mechanics last week or the week before? Because they probably just thrown all those game mechanics out the window and started over the past 48 hours.
I think I last read about it in like late 2010 or something.
Yeah, that's probably completely not correct anymore.
Yeah. At least they know that. At least they know that stinks and they're changing it, which some companies don't ever seem to get.
I don't know. Did you see this amazing Chocobo edit cut to the music? I mean, I don't know if they know that this is bad.
Well, okay.
maybe they're trying to be tongue in cheek, right? By playing a very crappy version of the song, like because what if they put a serious song in there, right? If they put some like crazy hard serious song in there, we'd be making fun of it then too. I think it's the content that's just bad.
Do you think I don't get the joke? Is that what you're saying? You're thinking I'm totally just went right over my head. I'm just like I don't even get it, man.
I don't know. At this point, are they salvageable? I think that people treat it like cars, right? Like if they have a Ford when they're 17 years old and it breaks down all the time and everything, then guess what? They're probably never gonna buy a Ford again, right? So it's like I think people are just brand loyal, and if something leaves a bad taste in their mouth, and they're gonna be like, oh well, wow, that was a terrible experience. See you later.
What do you? I mean, do you think that Square should have just kind of cut their losses here, like a good business decision, and kind of just cut their losses, taken this one, scrapped it for a while, and just go back to the drawing board and come back with what gamers want to play? Because I want to play a good Final Fantasy MMO. Don't get me wrong, I really, really want to. I bought the collector's edition. I totally wanted to like love XIV. I don't know. Should they have just cut their losses and just start over than just try and rework the entire game, Mike?
Well, first I meant brand sensitivity. I didn't mean brand loyalty. But it's, I don't know what they could do at this point. I mean, having played the game, having thoroughly made fun of the game to the point to where I'm done with it, right? I don't know what they could do. As far as them canning it, I think there's too much pride there for them to do it, and probably too much investment, right? I mean, they did all that motion capturing and everything for the movements. I mean, I'm like, save that and put it in another game.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that kind of stuff could probably be reused for another title.
Yeah, totally.
It just seems
those
odd
are assets that use anywhere.
What do you think, Jason?
Dragon's Quest X. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
DirectX 11 and all that stuff. They got depth of field. It's amazing. The game looks gorgeous. And I know in chat rooms, some people in chat room are hating me because they're XIV fans. They're like, Gary just hates Final Fantasy. I'm like, no, we did a show about it. I wanted to love it. The game's terrible. I just read a quote card from the CEO who says the Final Fantasy brand has been greatly damaged. Don't blame Gary. Blame Square Enix, who are completely admitting that they created a terrible game.
It was greatly damaged because you said nasty things about it.
That's what it is.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. It's never coming back in, and just said something bad about it. It's never coming back.
What they should do is make it so that your character can go insane and that his buttons get remapped. That'll solve everything.
Everything. No, seriously, Jason, do you think that they should just cut their losses and maybe like just kind of packed up XIV and said, hey, give us another year, we'll come back and we'll have something?
No, it's like you said. They've poured so much into it that I just don't know that you can walk away from it and just take the billion yen or whatever it is and knock it off and say, okay, we got nothing out of that. I think you at least have to try and have to keep it going for at least a little longer.
Many an entrepreneur make that mistake, and they just keep funneling money and funneling money and funneling money, and that is one of the largest mistakes that a bad business person makes.
You know what they could be? This is kind of tinfoil. Every time they make some kind of announcement regarding the Final Fantasy franchise, I feel like I read an article that's about something about their stocks going down, right? Dropping X%. Because that's probably one of the biggest things. I would say definitely the biggest name that they have right now, Square Enix, is the Final Fantasy franchise. So maybe they're just not really pouring a ton more money into it right now. They're just kind of letting it go, so that way they don't take a hit by saying, "Hey, this game's a complete failure. We're done. We're gonna shut it down." In which case, they would take a huge stock hit because of that.
Is kind of tinfoil hat moment, but I'm not really worried about them. I'm more afraid of Bashiak. I'm not really afraid of Tanaka. Tanaka does not have the power of Bashiak. All right, let's do some viewer questions. First up, I'll throw this one to Jason. This one comes in from Grayson Rogers. Grayson says, "What is going to happen when What is going to happen to Rift when SWTOR, Star Wars: The Old Republic, and Guild Wars 2 come out? Is it a strong enough game to last?"
It's kind of interesting when Rift first came out. Me and my Lotro kin, a lot of people in that, we all went to it for a while and we said, "Is this good, or are we just killing time until the next thing comes out for Lotro?" And that's the question. And I'm still not sure even at this point. Is Rift actually that good, or is it just filling space because there wasn't really anything great to come out for the last couple of years, and we all just latched on to something that looked pretty good. I think that those two games, especially Old Republic, are gonna pull away a good percentage of people from a lot of games. So I don't think it's gonna kill Rift so much, but I think it's gonna be a real test to see how loyal Rift fans are.
Mike, what do you think? Strong enough?
That's just really interesting because I think that Rift offers a comfortable place for MMO gamers to go and just play another fantasy game that they feel comfortable with. Looking at Guild Wars 2, I would say that it doesn't play like WoW, with the combat system and everything. It doesn't play like Rift. So I mean, in turn, it doesn't play like Rift, right? And then we have on the flip side, we have Star Wars, where it's Star Wars. It's a sci-fi element. So I don't know. It's like I feel like they could probably lose probably a substantial amount, but I think that they'll be fine afterwards because they still offer a comfort zone for players who grew up on the EverQuest to WoW or to whatever on that franchise. It's just a comfortable area to play in.
And I think also what adding to that is I think they're offering a few things that are unique enough, especially with their skill system and things like that other MMOs don't offer. That if they're doing some really good stuff, especially in the PvP area, if they start getting that kind of bolstered that up with ranking and stuff like that, and they can kind of harness that crowd. Seems like a lot of that crowd is really liking that aspect of Rift. I think it's definitely strong enough to last. I don't know exactly what constitutes, that kind of insinuates that it's going to fold, and I don't think it's going to fold anytime soon. There's no way of that happening.
I can see them taking a hit and then continue to build off of the people who are abandoning WoW, who maybe don't like the combat of one versus the sci-fi of the other. And again, it's just a comfy spot for players who are coming off of WoW and are done with that. So, and we already know that the WoW numbers are slowly declining here and there. So
yeah,
the big question is too, if Rift does start going in a downward trend, can they keep justifying the frantic pace of new content that they have?
I think they can, but I think we talked about this on the Sanctum a little bit, and I wouldn't. But the other thing is, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a team right now, possibly, already working on making sure that, or this has probably maybe even been in since inception, is that the back plan is possibly at some time they may have to in 2011 go free to play with an item shop, I think they look fine. I think they've exceeded their expectations, like probably at least 4 or 5x of what they thought was going to be actually in the game. I think I'm just making these numbers up, but I think they were speculating somewhere around the 200,000 mark and they'd be happy. So when they hit 1 million, I think that they're totally over the moon with it. I think it's going to last. I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think I think Star Wars and Guild Wars 2 are definitely going to take people away from some MMOs, but not just Rift, also from WoW and also from anything else people are playing. So, all right, next question. I'll throw this one to Mike B. Is permadeath really that popular?
Depends on
yeah.
Do you want Fred Bob? Should Fred Bob answer this one? Maybe Fred Bob should answer this question.
The question is almost certainly no, it's not popular. Is it an interesting avenue to take for a game? I would say yeah. Just recently, I think was it? I'm pretty sure it was Notch. Notch tweeted a picture or something that said like hardcore mode, and underneath it was like when you die, your world gets deleted. And there was a pretty big following that was like, hey, that's a really great idea. That's true survival mode, right? So yeah, I think that in some cases it would make sense, like in a PvE format, right? But I don't want to be punished that severely because somebody's a total jerk on the regular. Eve.
I'm a fan of big consequences. Like the idea of permadeath, like done in the right way, I think is enticing. But is it popular? No. No. I mean, that's why we don't really see. Is there a title on the market right now that's popular that has permadeath? I don't even think there is.
DDO has it, but it's optional. That I think is the key and the difference between, say, that and World of Darkness. If it's optional, sure, you can have it in your game, but it doesn't sound like that's necessarily going to be the case in World of Darkness.
I guess Eve. Chat room saying Eve. I guess you could say Eve is permadeath. It's not really. I mean, you have insurance. You lose some money and stuff like that, but you kind of get your stuff back. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think that crowd definitely probably would play a game that's like permadeath. I mean, they had it back in the UO days, and it was pretty popular then, but I guess there wasn't as many options either. So I don't think it's that popular, but I think there's definitely a niche market that if a company does it right and puts a game to market that has it correctly, maybe World of Darkness, I think it'll be pretty popular, at least in that market. All right, last question. Throw this one to Jason first. This one from Red Dork. Red Dork asks, if you could choose any existing IP to become an MMO, what would it be, and what style of game would it be? Theme park, sandbox, etc., etc.
I love Game of Thrones. Oh. Who doesn't? And that would be an absolutely awesome. Did I just take your answer, Mike?
No, but okay, good. That's a great answer.
Yeah,
I know. I think we all just went, whoa, why didn't we think of that?
I saw him put his head up. I was like, oh crap. But yeah, I mean, that'd be great. I mean, you'd have all the different factions you could join, and PvP all throughout the world and whatever, and just amazing.
Mike, what do you think?
I mean, besides like how the sandbox theme park, like the definitions, especially the sandbox side, it gets blurry. And I hate to again bring up Minecraft again for a game that I don't play that much, for Christ's sake. Yeah, Minecraft sandbox, totally. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Everybody in the world starts off with just their fists, start punching trees. Everybody creates their own elements. Big open world. It would never happen, but.
You don't think it'll ever happen? You don't think that could be a logical step? I mean, you're saying it, and I'm like, that sounds like a logical Minecraft step to me. It doesn't sound crazy.
Open world, no, but I mean, like instant space, I could totally see that happening.
Why? You don't think open? I could see open world.
I think that would be amazing. Are you kidding me? That'd be great. Give everybody a plot of land.
Start programming it. There you go.
I don't know. It kind of sounds like it might just happen like naturally, like possibly naturally with the game, the way it's developing and how it changes. I don't know.
You would need some serious back-end rework.
That's what she said. I want to play the Kim Kardashian MMO. That is the I will play the oiler on the Kim Kardashian MMO. That's what I'm going with. So,
hey, like I guess that could be an MMO.
It could. You could live in that world. I could live in that world.
Lots of content.
Jason, you can follow him on the Twitter at JAYELUU. Follow him on the Twitter, and of course, go to Massive Beckett Online Gamer.
And also my blog, jasonwinter.wordpress.com, where I'm going to have a post-show report tomorrow.
A what?
Post-show report.
Oh, post-show report.
Basically talking about all the stuff that I forgot to mention while I was on the air and other random thoughts.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I love it. Go.
I came up with it. Go figure.
It's awesome. You came up with that in the keyboard system this week of messing up your keys. I'm blown away. There you go. Mike B, right? AKA Phony. I got the wrong Twitter lower third for you, so I'm not going to put it up. It's AKA Mike B. I don't know why. Look, I just put Mike B for some reason. I typed it wrong. So it's AKA Mike B. Follow him on the Twitter at AKA Mike B. Of course, go to Zam.com and watch the BFF report and all the other crap that Mike does. Lots of stuff. It's just crap. I do some crap too over on GameBreaker.tv. It's a bunch of crap. You can come over and hang if you want. I don't know. As long as you got Jump and Chocobos, I'm happy. I guess I should talk about BlizzCon really quick before we go.
Yeah.
Most of you guys have probably tuned out already, but I'll talk about it anyway. BlizzCon. Live stream event. Annabella Hotel, October 20th at 5 Pacific. If you are going to BlizzCon or in the area of Anaheim, it is open to you all. We are joining up with WoW Insider and WoWhead to throw the best, biggest, badass party at BlizzCon. And if you can't make it, we're going to be live streaming the event right here on GameBreaker.tv. So mark your calendars for October 20th and don't miss it. Should be fun. I hear there's going to be Chocobos. Have a great week. We'll see you all tomorrow for Legendary. Bye.
Later.